Welcome everyone to episode 123 of EDH Commander Challenge. I'm your host, BT. This is it, our last episode of the decade and our final episode in our holiday battle royale. Hope you guys have had a great holiday season and Happy New Year depending upon where you are. Here it's currently New Year's Eve and less than 24 hours away till we begin 2020. Well, let's waste no time. Let's get to those opening hands. First, in this corner, with an opening hand of 3 Swamps, Lightning Greaves, Soul Ring, Diabolic Tutor, and Phyrexian Arena, it's yours truly, the host, BT. Next, in this corner, with an opening hand of 3 Mountains, Dragon Fodder, Pillage, Thunderbolt, Worn Power Stone, and her mono-red general Torbran, Thane of Redfell. She is the prodigy, Emma. Next, in this corner, with an opening hand of 2 Forests, Canopy Vista, Grove of the Guardian, Gavany Township, Swords to Plowshares, Karametra, God of Harvests, and his Celestia-style general, Tolsimir, Friend to Wolves. He is the mad scientist and also Mr. Landman, Francis. And finally, in this corner, with an opening hand of Mossward Bridge, Sun Petal Grove, Command Tower, Swords to Plowshares, Xenagos the Reveler, Ashnod's Altar, Birds of Paradise, and his Naya General, Marath, Will the Wild, he is the perfectionist, Phil. Francis won the dice roll to start us off, so let's begin the final card fight of 2019. For our first turns, Francis plays a Forest. Phil plays a Mossward Bridge and hides away a card. Emma plays a Mountain. And I play a Swamp and cast a turn 1 Soul Ring, followed by Lightning Greaves. Francis plays another basic and passes. Phil casts Birds of Paradise. Then he plays and sacrifices Windswept Heath. This allows him to get Sacred Foundry from his deck into play untapped, losing a total of 3 life before passing. Emma plays with a basic and casts Dragon Fodder, gaining 2 Goblin tokens, and passes. I play a basic and cast Phyrexian Arena, and pass. Francis plays Canopy Vista, and passes. Phil casts Marwyn the Nurturer, then plays Sun Petal Grove, and passes. Emma plays another basic and casts Worn Power Stone. Then she moves into combat and attacks Francis with her goblins. Francis takes the hits, and then Emma passes the turn. I lose 1 life to my arena to draw an extra card. I play Terrain Generator, and then cast Diabolic Tutor to tutor a card from my deck to my hand, and shortcut by passing to Francis. Francis plays Grove of the Guardian and casts Lone Wolf before passing. Phil plays Command Tower and casts his general, Marath, who comes into play with 3 +1/+1 counters on it before Phil passes. Emma decides to follow suit and cast her general, Torbran. Then she moves into combat and attacks me with her 2 goblins, which as a result of Torbran being out, deals me 6 damage total before she passes. I lose another life from my arena to get an extra draw, I then play a basic and cast my general, Massacre Girl. In response to her coming into play, Phil basically sacks his Marath to place 3 +1/+1 counters on Marwyn. Then Massacre Girl's trigger occurs, dealing -1/-1 to each other creature. This kills Emma's goblins, which triggers Massacre Girl 2 more times, dealing another -2/-2 to the field, which kills Francis's wolf, which triggers Massacre Girl once again to finish off the other remaining creatures. Next, I equip my greaves to my girl, well, the general, not my girlfriend. Then I move into combat, and I attack Phil for 4 damage with my Massacre Girl before passing the turn. Francis plays a basic and casts Karametra and passes. Phil plays Clifftop Retreat and recasts Marath, who comes in with 5 counters this time around before passing. Emma plays a basic and casts Pillage, destroying my Lightning Greaves. Then she casts Palladium Mirror before passing. I lose another life to my arena to draw an extra card. Then I play a beautiful foil Cabal Coffers and cast Fleshbag Marauder, forcing each player to sacrifice a creature. Then I move into combat and I attack Francis with Massacre Girl. Francis takes the hit and I pass. Francis plays a Plains and casts his general, Tolsimir, which in turn makes him a Voja Friend to Elves token, and he gains 3 life in the process, and also a free land from his deck with Karametra's trigger, which in this case is Scattered Groves, and he passes. Phil casts Acidic Slime and blows up my Cabal Coffers as revenge for his Marath's untimely death last turn, before passing. Appalled by this, I guess? Emma decides to cast Molten Rain and blows up Phil's command tower, dealing him 2 damage in the process. Wow, I guess my girl defended my honor, I suppose? Anyway, she then passes, and during her end step, I use my terrain generator to put a basic land from my hand into play tapped. I lose 1 more life to my arena to draw another card. Then I cast Dead Man's Chest, and I use it on Acidic Slime. Then I cast Necrotol and kill the slime, causing the chest to trigger, exiling the top 2 cards from Phil's library. Then I enter combat and attack Phil with Massacre Girl for 4 more damage before passing the turn. Francis plays a basic and casts Garruk Primal Hunter. He uses its +1 effect to make a 3/3 beast token. Then he moves into combat and attacks Phil with Tolsimir and his now animated Karametra. Then he sends the Voja at Emma. Both players take their respective hits, and Francis passes. Phil plays a Plains and casts Swords to Plowshares, exiling Karametra. Francis gains 6 life in the process. Next, Phil casts Ashnod's Altar before passing. Emma plays a basic and recasts Torbran, passing. I lose a life to my arena again for another card draw, and cast Beseech the Queen for 5, adding Cabal Stronghold from my deck to my hand, which I then play as my land for the turn. Next I cast Pitiless Plunderer. Then I move into combat, and I attack Garruk with my Massacre Girl. Francis stops it by casting his copy of Swords to Plowshares to exile it. I gain 4 life, and then pass the turn. Francis plays the awesome Gavany Township. Then he uses Garruk's +1 ability to make another beast token. Then he casts Exploration, followed by Rebenso with the Entwined cost paid. He uses it to destroy my Cabal stronghold, to which I float a mana in response, and he gets Temple of the False God from his deck directly into play. Before he moves into combat, however, I cast Phil's stolen Path to Exile on his general, thanks to my Dead Man's Chest from earlier. Francis then moves into combat and attacks Phil with Voja for 3 damage, before passing. Phil plays Karplusan Forest and casts his own Torbran. Wow, first 2 copies of Swords to Plow and now 2 copies of Torbran. Okay. Anyways, Phil loses 1 life for tapping his Karplusan Forest for a color before passing. Emma plays a basic and casts Browbeat. And as no one wants to take a total of 7 damage, Emma draws 3 cards. Next she casts her first love of generals, Heartless Hidetsugu, before passing. I lose 1 life to my arena again to draw an extra card. Then I cast the Eldest Reborn. In its first saga, each opponent has to sacrifice a creature. Francis, a beast token, and Phil and Emma each sacrifice their Torbrans. I play a basic and cast Cabal Ritual, gaining 5 mana as I have Threshold, and pay 6 mana total to cast Cage Sun, calling black. Then I move into combat and attack Garruk with both of my creatures. Francis blocks Necrotal with his beast, and Garruk takes 2 damage, and I pass a turn. Francis accidentally cheats here, using Garruk's -3 ability but only moving 1 counter from it to sack his Voja to draw 3 cards. Don't worry though, we do catch it later, guys. He then plays Castle Garenbrig, followed by a shiny Reliquary Tower as his second land. Then he casts Thought Vessel for the no-max hand-size double rainbow. Then he recasts his Tolsimir again, which gets him another Voja token, gains him 3 life, and he saves the table by having his Voja fight Heartless. The best boy clearly takes 1 for the team before Francis passes the turn. Phil casts Austere Command, choosing creatures with CMC 4 or greater and enchantments. As my creatures see each other leave play, I get 1 treasure token from my Plunderer. And Francis also realized his mistake with Garruk from earlier and sent it to the Great Beyond. Strangely, Francis allows Tolsimir to go to the graveyard before Phil passes too. Emma plays a basic and recasts her Torbran and passes. I cast Phyrexian Delver, which allows me to reanimate Necrotal, losing 4 life in the process. With its ETB trigger, I kill Emma's Torbran, to which she gives me a very angry, quote-unquote, no dinner tonight looking face before he's gone. Then I cast Phil's Tana the Bloodsower I exiled earlier with my Dead Man's Chest, followed by a Whisper, Blood Lethargist, and pass to Francis. Francis casts Risk the Redeemed, my favorite EDH legend, followed by Praetor's Council, returning all cards from his graveyard to his hand, and he becomes the first player to have 3 resources of no maximum hand size in a game of EDH. He then casts Tolsimir from his hand, gets another Voja token, gains 3 life, and has Voja fight my Whisper. At this point, Francis makes another error, but one we didn't catch unfortunately, as his Voja should have died as my Whisper was a 3/3 thanks to Cage Sun. Then he passes. Phil plays Dryad Arbor and casts Xenagos the Reveler. He uses its 0 ability to make a 2/2 Satyr token before passing. Emma plays a basic and casts Vance's Blasting Cannons and passes. For my turn, I cast Dark Petition. This allows me to tutor a card from my deck to my hand, which I then cast, which turns out to be Batter Skull, which makes me a Germ token as it's a living weapon. Then I move into combat, and I send Tana at Emma, and my Delver and Necrotal at Xenagos. Phil blocks both and casts Heroic Intervention to make his creatures indestructible, while Emma takes 2, and I get 2 Saprolings with Tana's effect before passing. Francis casts Spore Frog, followed by Exploration, then Lone Wolf, which gains him 3 life, and then it fights and trades with Tana. Then he casts both Garruk Primal Hunter and Reap and Sow, with no Entwine this time, choosing to grab Nykthos Shrine to Nyx from his deck into play. He lastly uses Garruk's +1 to make a Beast token before passing. Phil uses Xenagos' +1 ability to gain some Christmas-colored mana, being red and green, to recast Marath, who comes in with 7 counters this time. He now has 10 power and uses his hideaway card under his bridge, which is Parallel Lives. He sacks his Satyr to his altar for 2 colorless mana and uses 1 of it to remove a counter from Marath to kill Riss. He uses the other mana to remove a counter from Marath to make 2 1/1 elemental tokens thanks to his new enchantment before passing. Emma exiles her top card with her cannons, which turns out to be Stone Rain. She plays a basic and casts the Stone Rain to destroy Nykthos. Then she casts Ensnaring Bridge while holding 3 cards in her hand. Then casts everyone's favorite red enchantment, Mana Barbs, before passing. Hashtag hooray! I recast Massacre Girl. In response, Phil sacks his Arbor and 2 tokens to his altar, floating 6 colorless mana. Then she comes into play and deals -1/-1 to the field. This kills Spore Frog and my 2 Saprolings, which triggers Massacre Girl 3 more times for -3/-3 to the field. This kills Voja, the Beast token, the Germ token, Necrotal, and the Delver, dealing another -5/-5. In response to the massive board wipe about to happen, Phil removes enough counters from Marath to kill Garruk with damage, leaving my general as the only creature alive. Next I cast Underworld Connections on my swamp, taking a total of 5 damage from Mana Barbs before passing. Francis plays a basic and recasts his Tolsimir, getting another Voja token and gaining 3 more life. How many times have I said that this game? He then pays 5 more mana to tap 2 of his creatures and sack his Grove to make an 8/8 elemental token with Vigilance, and takes 13 damage total from mana barbs before passing. Phil plays his own copy of Nykthos and uses Xenagos' Zero ability to gain 2 Satyr tokens thanks to his parallel lives. He then sacks the Satyrs to his altar for 4 colorless mana and recasts Marath again, who now has 9 +1/+1 counters on him, while Phil takes 5 damage total from mana barbs before passing. Emma exiles her top card with her Vance's Blasting Cannons, and it's a basic land. She then plays a basic from her hand and recasts Torbran. She takes 8 from her mana barbs, which now makes tapping lands cost 3 damage per land tapped. #bolt lands before passing. For my turn, I cast Endrixar Master Breeder, followed by Grey Merchant of Asphodel, granting me 5 Thrall tokens. In response to Grey Merchant's trigger, Phil removes a counter from Marath to make 2 elemental tokens, which he then sacks to gain 4 mana. He then uses 3 mana to remove 3 counters from Marath to deal 3 damage to Endrick, killing it. I lose 15 life to mana barbs, but then I drain life each opponent for 6, gaining 18 life total, before passing. Francis casts Return to Dust, exiling mana barbs and ensnaring Bridge, taking 9 damage in the process. Ouch. Francis uses his townships then to place +1/+1 counters on all of his creatures. He then moves into combat and attacks Emma with his Vigilance Elemental token. Emma declares no blocks and takes a painful 9 damage herself before Francis passes. During his end step, Phil uses his Marath and Ashnod's Altar shenanigans to make 6 more elemental tokens, giving him a total of 8 before sending Marath back to the command zone. For Phil's turn, he plays Grove of the Burn Willows, then uses Xenagos' +1 to add 8 Christmas mana to his pool, so he's able to recast Marath again, this time who comes in with 11 counters total. Then he casts Crozen Grip to destroy my Caged Sun before passing. Emma exiles her top card with her cannons, which turns out to be a Soul Ring, which she then casts. Deciding that Phil is about to win in his next turn, Emma decides to take him out by casting Fireball, where X is 11. Not long for this world, Phil in response sacks all of his tokens to his altar, in combination with Marath, to shoot Emma enough times to put her to 1 life. Then the Fireball resolves and Emma eliminates Phil and passes to me. During her end step, I tap my Connected Swamp, drawing a card and losing a life. I play a basic and tap out, which includes sacking my treasure token to cast both Bolas's Citadel and Grave Pact before passing. Francis plays Ghost Quarter and uses his Gavany Township to boost his creatures again. Then he moves into combat and attacks Emma with his Voja and his Elemental token. Emma has no way to stop it, and she's eliminated from the game. Then Francis passes. For my turn, I cast Night's Whispers off the top of my deck with my Citadel, losing 4 life total to draw 2 cards. Then I cast Grave Betrayal. I play a basic and pass. Francis casts Explosive Vegetation. Because he isn't the mad scientist anymore, he's Mr. Landman. I don't know why he doesn't make a landfall deck. He'd be the king of this game. Anyway, he then uses his township to strengthen his army once more. Due to the fact that I have Grave Pact in play, he passes the turn. During his end step, I use my Connection Swamp again to draw a card and lose a life. For my turn, I cast Liliana of the Dark Realms off my Citadel, and I lose 4 life. I use its +1 to grab a swamp from my deck to my hand, which I then play as my land for the turn. Then I play Charcoal Diamond off my Citadel, losing 2 more life. Then I lose 1 more life to my Citadel to play Dark Ritual off the top of my deck. And then another 4 life to play Ravenous Chupacabra off my Citadel, which I use to kill the Vigilance token. Francis responds by casting Swords to Plowshares on the token, gaining 11 life in the process. Then I equip my Batterskull to my Grey Merchant. I move to combat, and I attack with the Merchant. Francis decides to double block it. In response, I flash in Dictate of Erebos. Then we move to damage, I gain 6 life, and place my damage on the Voja token. And then the Grave Pact and Dictate triggers, causing Tolsimir to die before I pass. Francis casts Primeval Bounty, followed by once again recasting Tolsimir, gaining a Beast token this time thanks to the Bounty's trigger, along with his usual Voja token, and 3 life before passing. For my turn, I use Liliana's +1 again to grab another swamp from my deck to my hand, which I then play as my land for the turn. I then lose 4 life to play Thran Dynamo off my Citadel. Next, from my hand, I cast Revel in Riches, followed by Worn Power Stone. Next, I equip my Batterskull to my Chupacabra. I then move into combat and attack with my Chupacabra. Francis blocks the hit, I gain 6 life, and then my Dictate and Pact triggers take out Francis' remaining creatures. I gain 2 treasure tokens in the process from my riches, and then pass the turn. Francis pays 13 mana to recast his general again. He gains 3 more life and both his Beast and Voja tokens back on the field. Then he casts Natural End, destroying my Grave Pact and gaining 3 more life, which also, thanks to his bounty, allows him to place 3 +1/+1 counters on Tolsimir before passing. As Francis's life gain train is never ending, I go big and cast Torment of Hailfire, where X is 15. Francis sacks his 2 tokens, Exploration, Tolsimir, and Thought Vessel. Then he loses an incredible 30 life, and he's still alive. This guy's like the T-1000 from the Terminator, I swear. I gain True Treasure tokens as his 2 creatures died. I then move into combat and attack him with all my creatures, dealing him a further 9 damage, and then pass the turn. Francis pays 15 mana to recast Tolsimir from the command zone for the 6th time. He gains his Beast and Voja tokens back again and another 3 life. Then he bolsters his defenses further by casting Wailuli Wolf. This gains another 3 life and another beast token before passing. I start my turn by upticking Liliana again to grab another swamp from my deck to my hand. Then I equip my Batterskull to one of my thralls. Then I attack Francis with the powered up 5/5 Thrall. Francis blocks with a beast token, I gain 5 life, and yet another treasure token. During my second main phase, I play my copy of Nykthos, and I cast Army of the Damned to make 13 tapped zombie tokens. Then I tap my Connection Swamp to draw a card and lose a life. Next, I tap out to cast Grave Titan, making 2 untapped zombie tokens. Then I lose 2 life to cast Jet Medallion off my Citadel, and finally pass the turn. Unable to handle a zombie apocalypse coming his way next turn, Francis finally scoops and surrenders himself to Massacre Girl's undead army. Phil's Marath deck continues to be a powerhouse. His parallel lives work great with his token generators and Ashnod's Altar to always ensure he had a large supply of either mana or tokens, if not both. Emma, whose nickname should be Burner Girl, Torch Lady, or hashtag all burn everything, continues to improve in skill in every game she plays, and I, as her teacher, couldn't be more proud. Her Mana Barbs is just evil in combination with Torbran. I mean, taking 3 damage for tapping 1 land for mana? That was insane. As you saw today, Francis' life gain plan kept him on the throne for 2/3 of the game, and he casted his general half a dozen times with all the mana he had. Please guys, check out his deck list when he posts it, and if you have any suggestions for what could make the deck even tougher, he'd really appreciate it if you could let him know. As for myself, I'm gonna have to give the nod to Dictate of Erebos and Grave Pact. Because, to be honest, Francis had me beat in terms of power, and could have easily used his fight triggers or combat phase to take me out if he didn't have to worry about losing his creatures. Agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoy our content, consider becoming a patron. Give you access to some sweet bonuses while helping out the channel at the same time. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you in 2020. Please continue to support us on our journey to 2,000 subscribers/family members. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're a fan of EDH gameplay and you like whether it be 1v1 or multiplayer and you want to be part of the ever-growing Commander Challenge family, just make sure you smash the subscribe button and notification bell down below. We do weekly videos. Don't forget as well to like, comment, share our videos, but most importantly, enjoy them. On behalf of all of our members here, I'm your host, BT. Feel free to check out all of the videos in the channel, join our game, it's now your turn. Cheers!